What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, as we start free agency week number 2, we're going to take a look at the top guys left on the market that the Giants and Joe Schoen could go out and maybe look to sign or at least be interested in. A little disclaimer here. I also wanted to include Connor McGovern on this list. The Giants, they lost John Feliciano yesterday. We have a center on this list. Kind of a little bit of a brain fart from young Marshy. Connor McGovern is another guy I think the Giants could look at the center spot. Played with the Jets last year. Definitely someone to keep an eye on. Before we get to the rest of the free agency targets, though, that the Giants could look at, let's get the word out there that Giants Now by Chat Sports is putting out videos every day, and they just released a video about the latest free agency target. So before we start, I want you guys to share this video over on Twitter. Easy process to do that. Click the share button right below this video, select the Twitter icon, and click post to Twitter. And if you mention me in that share at Marshall Green _ it's right here, I'm going to give you a retweet and I'm going to give you a follow back on Twitter. So share, click the video, select Twitter, tweet it out, and include me in the tweet. And I'm going to retweet it and give you a follow back on Twitter. But without further ado, let's get into the video. 18 free agents I think the Giants could at least look at, including these are just the top 18 guys left. So the Giants, they might not need a guy like Taylor Lewan or Isaiah Wynn. But you might laugh at me right here. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is someone that the Giants are not interested in. Not saying they are interested in him, but the Giants were in the running for D'Onta Foreman, who inevitably signed with the Chicago Bears. Rumors came out that the Giants made a contract offer and then they were in it until the end for D'Onta Foreman, and he chose the Bears over the Giants. So maybe a team like the Giants could look for Ezekiel Elliott on a 1-year extremely cheap deal. He's not going to get a lot of money elsewhere. Maybe you want another power back to play alongside Barkley. I don't think it's that likely, but I do think it's interesting. The Giants were in on D'Onta Foreman. The guy I'm really looking at on this list, though, is Jadeveon Clowney. The Giants, they need another edge rusher, and Clowney may be one of the best left. He's never been a huge sack guy in his NFL career. Just 11 sacks in the last 3 seasons, but this is someone that I think is one of the best run-stopping edges in the National Football League. And I think he'd come on a cheap deal. I think he has some stuff to prove, and the talent is undeniable. And when you look at this Giants defensive line depth chart, you don't really have any depth, and especially veterans on the outside. Obviously, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, you have Azeez Ojulari, then you got Ryder Anderson and Tom and Fox, who are both young guys, and you really want to have a rotation at that edge spot. Ojulari missed a lot of games last year. You definitely are going to need to piece that position up. I think they could look to address it in the NFL draft, but I wouldn't be mad at all, and I actually would be interested in signing Jadeveon Clowney. It's just going to have to depend on how much money he's going to want. We've seen him drag out his free agency before, so it may be a while, but Clowney, extremely talented and someone that I definitely have my eyes on. I do know this, though. When the Giants make a move, we are going to make a video here on this channel. Breaking news, rumors, mock drafts, anything related to the Giants, we put out a video on it every single day. And we're getting closer and closer to 26,000 subs here on the channel. We're about 200 away. So help us get there. I think we can get there on today's video. Everyone watching right now hits that sub button. I know there's 210 people not subbed. Sub for Giant Stubs videos every day on Big Blue. We'll get to the rest of free agency targets coming up in a quick second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Fume. We all have bad habits, and we certainly know how hard they can be to kick those bad habits. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help out you trade your negative habit for a positive one. Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's FUM.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to save an additional 10% off your order today. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors for you to enjoy. That includes crisp mint, maple, pepper, and white cranberry. Get 10% off by going to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. That link's in the comments and description of today's show. Get started with Fume. You'll thank me later. Number 14 to number 10. A couple of players I think the Giants could be interested on this list. The first one is Marcus Peters. Going back to the connections with Wink Martindale, I think the Giants could be in the market to sign a veteran corner. And the way the market's playing out this year, I don't think Peters is going to get anything over 1 year and a couple $1 million. I like Marcus Peters. I think he's a really aggressive corner, and I like the fact that he knows the system for the New York Giants. Obviously those ties back to his Baltimore days with Wink Martindale. But the player I want to focus on is another edge, and that is Bud Dupree. Like Jadeveon Clowney, he's kind of missed some time due to injury, but Bud Dupree is a much better pass rusher than Clowney is. I mean, you look at what he's done the past couple of years, just 7 sacks, but that's 7 sacks in 22 games in the past 2 seasons. Injuries is a problem for Bud Dupree, no doubt about it, but he's got excellent talent. He's got a quick first step, extremely strong pass rusher. I go back to the first game the Giants had this season against the Tennessee Titans, and he just caused havoc all day long. He was always in the backfield, always putting pressure on Daniel Jones, and that's what he brings. I mean, look what he did in 2020 and 2019. That's 8 sacks in 11 games in 2020 and 11.5 sacks in 16 games played for the Steelers back in 2019. He's an extremely talented pass rusher, and maybe if the Giants want to shell out a little bit of money to go get, a backup piece to Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau, Bud Dupree could be that guy. We've talked about 2 edge rushers so far in today's video. We got more to talk about. I think edge rusher is still a big need for this ball club, but I want to ask all the real ones right now to pick an edge rusher for me. Who would you choose? Type JC for our guy Jadeveon Clowney or BD for Bud Dupree. Sound off for me down below. I would probably roll with Bud Dupree. I think he'd be a little bit cheaper, and I think he's a better pass rusher, but I would be honestly really happy if they got Jadeveon Clowney as well. 9 to number 5. Mecole Hardman is the first guy on this list. Remember there was rumors that came out that the Giants were interested in Mecole Hardman and DJ Chark. I think they were a little bit out of the Giants' price range, and that's why they elected to sign a guy like Paris Campbell. We'll talk about Frank Clark. Also, Dalton Risner played some center in college. He could be a guy the Giants could look at. A really good interior offensive lineman. Not most likely going to go back to Denver, so he's someone I think the Giants could look at. Also, Frank Clark. We'll break him down in a little bit. But Mecole Hardman, could he still be on the Giants' radar? The fact that he's this far into free agency, the second and third wave is here. Could the Giants look to sign him? Maybe it's an even cheaper deal than they talked about maybe last week. I like Hardman. I don't love Mecole Hardman. I think he's a good player, not a great player. He has speed and he can push the field vertically. But you kind of already have one of those guys in Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell. Hardman's a good player. If he wants to come on a cheap veteran minimum deal, maybe that's all he's got right now out there, then I would absolutely be interested. Frank Clark, though, is someone that I am interested for the New York Football Giants, a veteran pass rusher. He's had a lot of success in the playoffs. I believe he's top 10 in playoff sacks all time. When you look at what he does, all he does is get after the quarterback. 8 sacks, 6 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 5 sacks. And I don't think it's going to cost too much money to bring a guy like Frank Clark in if the Giants are looking to the veteran pass rushing department. Frank Clark's a good player, played in a lot of big games, has that experience, and I think he'd bring a winning culture to this young edge group, and I think he could teach a thing or two to Azeez Ojulari or Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe Frank Clark isn't someone that you're interested in. What about Leonard Floyd? He is someone that I am extremely interested for the Giants. I've been interested in him for a while for the Giants, and the Giants have been interested in him for a while. Go back to the year he was drafted. The Giants had rumors they were interested, and you got Odell Beckham. We'll talk about him. Bobby Wagner. Don't think the Giants are going to spend big money on a linebacker after they already paid Bobby Okereke, but Yannick Ngakoue, probably the best guy left. I think the Giants could be interested in 4, 3, or 1. It's all going to come down to how much money these guys want. Let's break them down. Leonard Floyd last year, really the past 3 seasons, has been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. 9 sacks in 2022, 9.5 in 2021, and 10.5 in 2020. I will say, though, it's a little bit easier to get after the pass rusher when you're playing alongside Aaron Donald and Ashawn Robinson, who might be a Giant. Once we find out news on that, we'll break that down. And you're playing next to Von Miller. You got to double team Aaron Donald, not Ndamukong Suh was also on that team. Floyd is a good player. I think the sacks might be a little bit inflated, but I would love to see him in Giants blue. I think he could be a difference maker for this team. I just wonder how much money he's really going to get at this point. We all know the Odell Beckham Jr. rumors have been out there, and they have been buzzing. Reports came out he wanted $20 million. He said that never happened. He tweeted out that a team offered him $4 million. I think he's only going to get $6 million. And if that's all it's going to cost for Beckham, who's proven he could be a number one wide receiver, might the Giants be interested? They obviously showed interest last year during the regular season. There was rumors that they met in the offseason. I don't think we can rule out an Odell Beckham Jr. signing yet, but I think it's more likely that he won't be a Giant. But I'm definitely keeping my eyes on that and seeing how his market develops. Yannick Ngakoue is the best, my opinion, the best free agent left. Look, 9.5 sacks, 10 sacks, 8 sacks in the last 4 seasons. He's a premier pass rusher, and I think he's someone that the Giants may not be able to afford, but would definitely obviously make this team better. They need another edge rusher. I know I've said that time and time again in this video, but you can't have Ryder Anderson and Tom and Fox as your 2 backup edge rushers when honestly you have an injury-prone player in Ojulari, missed games in both seasons in the NFL, and Kayvon Thibodeau has had some injury concerns as well in his young career. Sprained his MCL at the start of the year last year, and he got hurt a couple times at Oregon. You're going to need another good player. Maybe they address that in the draft. I wouldn't be shocked if they selected an edge rusher at pick number 25. I believe they will spend a premium pick in this draft on an edge rusher. Maybe they do it in free agency and sign one of the guys that we talked about. We went through 18 guys plus Connor McGovern in today's show. So I want to ask all you watching, who do you want the Giants to sign? Is there one player left that's available in NFL free agency that you think needs to be a New York Giant? Let me know down in the comments section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today's show. If you made it this far in the video, hit that thumbs up icon, show some love, and we'll see you tomorrow unless more news breaks today.